Hi guys, so today we're going to continue with reciprocal trig functions. We're going to go back to this picture in which this helped us determine which quadrants had which functions as either positive or negative. So I taught you guys a phrase that was all students take calculus, and this helped me determine which functions were positive in each quadrant. So A stood for all of these functions, meaning sine, cosine, and tangent were all positive. In quadrant 2, the S stands for just sine being positive, and my other functions are negative. T stands for tangent is positive, and my other functions are negative. And C stands for cosine is positive, and my other functions are negative. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at which quadrants have our reciprocal functions, either positive or negative. So if I take a look, since all of my functions, sine, cosine, and tangent, are all positive in quadrant 1, all of my reciprocal functions, cosecant, secant, and cotangent, are all positive there as well. So every function and every reciprocal function is positive in quadrant 1. In quadrant 2, think of the reciprocal function that goes with sine. Sine goes with cosecant. So if sine is positive in quadrant 2, its reciprocal function, cosecant, is also positive. So cosecant is positive, and the other two functions, secant and cotangent, are negative. In quadrant 3, tangent, my reciprocal function is cotangent. So tangent and its reciprocal function are both positive in this quadrant. And secant and cosecant are both negative. In my fourth quadrant, think of what function goes with cosine. Cosine goes with secant. Again, a C goes with an S. So secant is also going to be positive in this quadrant. And cosecant and cotangent are going to be negative. So this is going to help us identify which functions are positive and which functions are negative in our different quadrants. And just like our all students take calc, you still just need to memorize that, but then I would also think of what the what the reciprocal function is. That way, that is going to have the same exact sign. Let's take a look at some Delta math questions so that we can practice these. So for today, Wednesday the 25th, you have two different things that you're going to do on this. So first is 5 questions of these signs of trig functions. These are going to look very similar to ones that we did when we just had sine, cosine, and tangent, except now they're going to give us some different functions. So I'm going to do my same thing. I'm going to set up A, S, T, C. And if you want, you can write all, all, and S stands for sine, T stands for tangent, and C stands for cosine. If you also want to write the reciprocal functions, that could help us. So an S goes with a C. So sine goes with cosecant. Tangent goes with cotangent. Those are the easy ones to remember because tangent and cotangent both have tangent in the name. And cosine goes with secant. A C goes with an S. Okay. This is which functions are positive in these quadrants. So what we have to do for these questions is see what information they're giving me and then try to match and figure out what quadrant it would lie in then. So they're telling me that cotangent of theta is greater than 0, which means that it's positive. So think of the function that goes with cotangent. Cotangent goes with tangent. So they're telling me tangent is positive. So I know that this is true here, and it's also true here. Okay. They also tell me that cosecant of theta is greater than 0, meaning it's positive. Cosecant goes with sine. So they're telling me that sine is greater than 0 or positive. So where is sine positive? So sine is positive here and here, which means cosecant is positive in those two quadrants. Where do both of these provide to be true? That would be quadrant 1. Then I will submit my answer. So there's two ways you could really do these. If you have this picture here drawn and you have the cofunctions there, you don't need to think of what function those cofunctions go with. Since I made this picture and I have which functions are positive, I could just use this picture to help me. So instead of thinking of my reciprocal functions now, I'm just going to go with this picture and I have everything labeled and I could just check where each of these are true. So the first scenario on this one is secant is less than 0, which means secant is negative. So secant is here, but secant is positive here. So it cannot be here because secant is positive. I need it to be negative. Secant is also positive here, so it cannot be here. Secant is positive in this quadrant and in this quadrant. Then they're telling me that tangent is greater than 0, which means tangent is positive. So which quadrants have tangent as positive? Tangent is positive in the all, and tangent is also positive here. So the correct answer would be quadrant 3. All right, I'm going to do one more with you guys just so that we can see. Again, just having this picture here could help us determine which quadrant it is in. So cosecant is positive. And they're telling me that secant is also positive. So let's start with cosecant. Cosecant is positive here, and all of my functions are positive here. Secant is positive here, and all of my functions are positive here. So this would be in quadrant 1. Okay, after you complete 5 of those, I would like you guys to go back to identifying trig ratios. This is what we did yesterday. I just want to make sure that we're continuing to practice these as we go through this unit and learn new material. So which ratio represents cotangent? Again, when we're doing these, I'd like you guys to write SOHCAHTOA. And then think of the reciprocal functions that goes with each. So sine goes with cosecant, cosine goes with secant, and tangent goes with cotangent. So cosecant is going to be hypotenuse over opposite. This is going to be hypotenuse over adjacent. And this is going to be adjacent over opposite. So in this question, if they want the cotangent of S, here's my triangle, here's S. So this is the angle I'm using. I need my adjacent and my opposite. So here's my opposite, here's my adjacent. So this was 72, and in my picture, this is 65. So cotangent of S is going to be the ratio of 72 over 65. Submit your answer. Oh no, what did I do? Cotangent. Cotangent is, oops, I flipped it. Cotangent is adjacent over opposite. So I actually found the cotangent of it. So if you get it wrong once, you could go back and try it again. 65 over 72. Again, cotangent is adjacent over opposite, so 65 over that 72. And we get it correct. So you were trying 3 in this one and then 5 on the other one. All right, have a great one. Bye.